Hey, Kevin here, Mr. DIY Dork from DIYDork.com. Today I'm giving you a update on our butt ugly barn house renovation. And today we are still working on the siding. We're tearing off as much as we possibly can because the rest of our siding, if you saw my other one, you know that it all fell off of a truck and a bunch of it got damaged. But the rest of it's coming in tomorrow, so we're trying to get it all ready so we can start putting it up. So let me go ahead and show you what we're doing today. Just, kind of how we're tearing it off and fixing some spots. Okay, so here's what we're tearing off. The house was covered in this really ugly baby blue vinyl siding that is probably close to 20 years old, and it has seen better days. This stuff is cracked and dried out and leaking and just any kind of problem you can think of, so we're going to get rid of it. So we're tearing it off today. And if you've never messed with vinyl siding before, it actually comes off pretty easy. You're going to pop a piece off, and then what you're going to do is look for the nails. And it's just going to have a couple of these roofing nails every once in a while in these slots. And once you rip them off, the piece will just flap right open. And then more than likely, it's going to have a little bit of foam, maybe 1/4 inch foam or so. When you tear it off, underneath is going to be either the straight up sheathing that the house was built with, or maybe some old siding. That happens to be what we have here. The house has the old plywood siding. It used to be board and batten. I guess they tore all the battens off and then put up this vinyl siding. But anyway, it's in decent shape, so we're actually going to keep it. The only problem is down towards the bottom, and this probably isn't a good example. Let me show you better over here. Down towards the bottom, it's kind of rotten and it's peeling away. So any of the really bad sections we're actually going to tear out and repair. So I'll just kind of show you how we're doing this today, just to kind of document how we're doing it. Real quick, just let me show you how I'm actually tearing the siding off. It's pretty simple. Like I said, you get underneath the nails, pop them out. Something really unusual about this house is that the vinyl siding was mounted vertically, which I don't think I would ever recommend because every seam is a potential spot for a leak. But it does make it easy to come off. Put out the J channel, wiggle it free, and then throw it in our junk pile over here. And kind of embarrassing, but our whole yard is totally trashed with junk, and last night our neighbors had like a housewarming party with a ton of guests in their backyard, so we try to not be too trashy, but can't really do much about that. So we got all the siding pulled off, and now we're back on top to work on the second story because it actually has the most rot underneath the windows. You can already see how bad it is here. So real quick, I'll just show you. We're keeping some of the old siding. It doesn't look great, but it is solid. But then you get to parts like down here, and you just hammer it and it just totally falls apart. So we got to cut all that out. So what we're doing, oh, here's another good example. See, there's actually a seam right here under this window. So even though this doesn't look good, it's still solid, but up here is mush and just coming apart in there with a hammer. So it's got to totally be replaced. So what we're doing, using this little tool here, I'm not even sure what it's called. We were just calling it the little buzz tool, but it's kind of like a bone saw, a Dr. Bone Saw. Just shakes back and forth. What we did was we just drew a line to cut out all the rot. And that way when it's done, we can pull it out and then put in a totally fresh new piece of plywood that's the same thickness as this old siding. Basically it'll just go underneath the window, and then we can start putting in our metal trim and installing everything. See, I got the line, you probably can't really see it, but I got a line drawn right here, getting ready to cut this one out. Then we'll be prepared to put in the wood, replace it, start putting up the siding. Alright, so here's what we ended up doing. We cut out all the rotted section like I just showed you, and then we just used some plywood that was, I think, 3/8, same as the siding. And we're putting it up with some screws, and then we'll be able to put J channel around the windows and then all of the tar paper, and be fine after that. So that's just a quick rot repair. Is it the right way to do it? I don't know, but it should work fine for what we're doing because we're going to have plenty of ways for the rain to get away from ever having to touch this wood, so I think it'll be okay.